Hi, welcome back. All right, I'm Prof C and I'm cooking with my daddy. And so today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do sticky rice. For me, when I say sticky rice, I mean it's not the normal rice that you would use. It's actually, it says, well, you can't really see it, but it says fancy sweet rice. Okay, fancy sweet rice, and it looks like this. Okay, and what's really important is washing the rice. So I thought that I would actually also teach you how to wash rice properly. Welcome back. This is how you actually would wash rice. Let's just use 1 cup just as a demonstration. Okay, so let me just take you to my sink. All right, so this is how you actually wash rice. First of all, you have to wash rice. It's dirty. Who knows where it's been? Okay, so 1 cup of rice. So what you do is we wash the rice, give it a nice scrub. See, like a scrubby. All right, we wash our rice. There's also rice stuck in my cup because it had a little bit of water. So we want to make sure we get all the rice. Now, the trick to making sure that you don't lose any rice, sometimes when we were much younger, we didn't know how to wash the rice, and half the rice was actually in our sink. That's a big no-no. That's offensive to the rice, especially for my dad who loves rice a lot. So what you do is you pour the water out. You know that the rice settles to the bottom. So you just pour the water out and then take 1 cup and pour it at the top. Because what you want to do is that you want to force the rice to be at the bottom. So when you're pouring it, okay, then you see the rice is there. But we have to also wash the rice twice. So we get the water out. Okay, you pour the water out. And when you start to see the rice coming to the edge, pour your cup out and then pour again. So the rice that does fall out, it doesn't matter because it's now easier to capture and pour. Oops, pour it from here, and then there you have your rice. And then just click it back in, wash the rice again, all right, and wash the rice, and then there you go. All right, so make sure that you see the rice is at the top, and then you don't want that to fall over as you're pouring it, tilting it. So you just make sure it's all at the bottom. Pour it. The rice is now coming to the edge. We're like, wait, I'll catch you. And there we go. There, all the water's out of this rice. I pour this water out, and I lose nothing, okay? There's my washed rice. Okay, so that's that. Now that I've just showed you how to wash rice, okay, and it's very important that you don't lose any rice, okay? And if you lose some in the sink, you can always pull it back and wash that rice and put it back in, okay? But now we're gonna do sticky rice. Sticky rice actually only has a few ingredients. It's quite labor intensive. So you would only do it for people that you really love and care about. So your friends, you know, the special friends and family. Okay, so the key ingredient here is, of course, the red sausage, right? So it's almost in all my dishes so far because I want to use up the whole pack. Okay, but the real thing is actually this dried mushrooms. So the key to buy it is not necessarily the branding, but this color. Okay, it's actually darker brown, and you want to look for small stems because the stem is actually hard to eat. Okay, and the darker brown. My dad and I have tried different kinds of mushrooms, and you'll see like nice big fat, you know, whitish color of mushrooms. You're like, ooh, I'm willing to spend a little bit more. Yeah, don't, because those don't really have the flavor. It looks very beautiful, but when you eat it, it's not so great. So it's up to you. Do you want looks or do you want taste? We want taste. Now, we have to be very smart. My grandmother, she was an amazing cook. And what would she do? We know that the stems are actually very tough to eat, okay? But we eat it anyways. But why suffer? What my grandmother does is she would break off if you can break them off, okay? You see this stem? We actually put it and we'll use it at another dish. So stay tuned for my other classes where I'm gonna show you how to cook this stem where it's actually very delicious. It's almost like little pieces of chip, okay? But, so what you do then is you soak it in water, all right? And you have to soak it for probably about 3-4 hours. But you wanna make sure you push it down so that they're all floating this way, all right? And you pour the water, but just enough water to cover it. Don't pour too much water because we want the soup. We waste nothing, okay? So, as you can see, but there's barely any soup in there, any water in there. That's because it's all soaked up in here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna wanna squeeze. All right, we want to squeeze the water out, okay? So there we go. Now, I have a little special ingredient. So we want to squeeze the water out, and you can see how much water is there. because we're gonna actually use it and put that back into our rice. The flavors of the dried mushroom is really, really great. Now, do you see what's at the bottom of my bowl? Something a little on the fancy side, okay? And my dad and I actually use this instead of garlic. So when we cook with vegetables, we actually take 4 pieces of, what is this? Dried shrimp. If you like dried shrimp, you can find this in an Asian store in the refrigerated section. Now, it's a little on the expensive side, but it's worth it. Okay, so see, we have our soup here we're going to be using later on. And now what are we going to do with this? We're going to cut this up into little pieces. All right. And then also with the dried mushroom, okay, we want to cut this as thin as possible as well. All right. So remember, tuck your fingers in and then start cutting. Okay. Okay, that's actually, so I have about 1.5 cups of sweet rice that's already been cooked. Okay, all right. Now we put that aside. Now for this dried shrimp, we just want to try to cut it into little pieces. All right. Okay, so we're gonna cook these together. Okay, they're good friends. They like to be together, so let's just have them together. All right. Okay. Next, now we gotta have our red mushrooms. Our red Chinese sausage. Okay, we have to cut those in slightly bigger and big pieces like this, but very thin, very thin. We cut them as thin as we can because you know we want the oils, and it cooks faster. See, pretty thin. $4 knife. See, $4 can buy you a lot these days. All right, there. Oops, I almost cut my finger because I didn't tuck it in. All right, so there we go. Okay, and that's our sticky rice. Now we have our sweet rice, which is, where's my sweet rice, Daddy? Let me see. Oh, it's still in the pot. I just cooked it, so that's where it is. It's in my rice cooker, and that's it. So we cut up our mushrooms, we cut up our dried shrimp and our sausage, and we're ready to go. So what do we need? Okay, I'll meet you at my stove, but what do we need? We're gonna don't forget our water, okay? And of course we need a little bit of salt. All right, so I will meet you back at my stove. Now, the key thing to sweet rice is that when you make sweet rice, it takes a little bit less water than regular water, because if it's equal amount, so usually it's 1 cup to 1 cup in a rice cooker. All right, I don't know about a stove. Okay, I don't know how much water you would put in, but for a rice cooker, it's 1-to-1 ratio. But with sweet rice, you want a little bit less because this doesn't need as much water and you don't want it mushy. So let's get started. The very first thing we're actually going to cook is actually our dried mushrooms and our shrimp, because we're going to add soy sauce and sugar to give it a tang. But once this is cooked, it's going to burn our pot, and I have to wash the pot out, so I can't reuse it. All right, but we want a nice tang in our dried mushrooms. Okay, so we put a little bit of oil. We put all of this in there. Okay, and we just wait for that to brown up. Okay, great. Now I forgot my spatula, so my dad's giving me my spatula. Thank you, Daddy. Okay, and then we just wait. Now the key thing for this dish actually is soy sauce and sugar, because remember, sugar and soy sauce are partners for life. Okay. So we have soy sauce, and then we also have sugar. This is actually a really good brand, Kung Fu, because it's made in Taiwan, and it's not as salty. Okay, but when do we add this in? Okay, we add this when this is all browned up a little bit. So as you can see, it's getting nice and brown, and then you can start smelling. Okay, the mushrooms are getting very, very beautiful. I don't know. Pung pung is like Taiwanese for like a nice smell. All right. Okay. So we're just turning that, tossing that, just to get a little bit golden. And you want to also make sure that you can see that it's getting a little bit brown, because if you don't, then it doesn't really have that flavor that comes out. It still tastes good, but it doesn't taste as awesome as if you brown it a little bit. Okay, so that looks a bit brown. Okay, some pieces not so much, but that's okay. All right, so what we do now is we're gonna pour a little bit of soy sauce, maybe about a spoon and a half or so, okay? All right, and then sugar. All right, now that, you can smell it right away. You know, you turn off the heat because it has that tangy smell, all right? Salty and sweet, a great combination. Okay, now what's really important, because the soy sauce burns, okay? We don't want burned soy sauce. That's just yucky, okay? So what you need to do is put that in the pot, use hot water, rinse out your pot, and come back. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use our Chinese red sausage, okay? So we're gonna have to wait for that, okay? Oops. Again, let's maximize our time while we're waiting for this. And sometimes if it doesn't look like it's really going, you can always add just a touch of oil like that, just to kind of, you know, entice it to and not burn on the bottom of my pot. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna loosen up my rice, okay? So what you do is just loosen this up. Now remember what I taught you last time, okay? Let me just show you again, just in case you forgot. If you're just going to eat this straight, let's just say it is steamed normal steamed rice, and somebody gives you this the scooper says, go ahead, get some rice. Don't go in the middle and then get your rice like that. That is rude. That's offensive to the rice. That looks terrible for other people. And also you exposed it, okay? Because when it starts drying and you don't eat it all up, it gets all hard. So what you want to do is go to the edge, okay? All right, so you see that my sausage is actually turning a nice color. The oils are coming out, but it's not quite yet, but it's getting a bit hot. I turn it down, because the sausage, after halfway, you need to turn down the heat. Otherwise, it won't encourage the oils to come out, and it will just burn, okay? Now, that's looking good, and our dish is just about done, because all we have to do, whoa, move this off because it's getting too hot. This, you're gonna put in the whole rice. Oh yeah. Okay, now, as you can see, it's all hard, right? And we need to add water. So are we gonna add normal water? No, don't forget, we have the mushroom water. And that is actually gonna make it taste even better. Okay, and that is why we don't want to we definitely don't want to use too much water to soak our mushrooms, otherwise you dilute it. All right, so now, the reason why I say it's labor intensive is because it's sticky rice, and it's gonna take you a while to get this all together, okay? And then now you have to do this, and it's gonna take a while, all right? But it's worth it. It's really nice. People love sticky rice. It's that nice consistency of a little bit chewy, a little bit sweet, and then the mushrooms and the sausage, and a little bit salty. Okay, we need a little touch more water. Okay, and then we want to pan fry it. My dad's showing with his hands to go like this, telling me to kind of, I know it's clumpy. And that's the thing, is you want it to, my heat is already turned off. You don't want the heat to keep going. Okay, and then you're just going to want to do that. All right, I think I need a touch of water. That's it. Don't put too much because we don't want it mushy. I've done that before. Okay, there you go. See, it's looking much better. But just make sure you chop, 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 everybody. Okay, now, maybe we can get a nice bowl. Daddy, can you get a clean bowl for me, please, Daddy? And now my dad is going to try it. He's a rice man, so he's going to love this. Although he loves steamed rice the best. Can you believe it? Oh man, I'd rather have big chunks of shrimp. All right, so put it in the bowl. Okay, Daddy. Oh, I think I might have needed to add a little bit more salt. Who knows? Let's try. Now, don't forget, I've already added salt in the mushrooms, and then the sausage is also salty. So it's better to try it first. So make sure you try it first before you add more stuff. Okay, Daddy, try it, please. Oh wait, come here. They can't see you. Okay, Daddy. Is it salty enough?
Mm-hmm.
No, my dad's did you see that? Nonverbal communication by 85%.
We're done.
Yeah, he's thinking a little bit more salt. So anyways, I will just add that back in, but maybe just a pinch of salt and maybe add a little bit of accent because we like accent because it gives it more flavoring. And there you go. That's it. That's that simple. Okay? All right. I'll just do that later.